Hey, are you in there? Are you in there? I hope so. Let's talk for a minute. Now, what I want to talk to y'all about is something that I just saw on the news today. Now, I have been like chilling out on the news because let me tell you something. For the longest while, people say, I don't watch the news because it's too depressing and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you got to stay informed. And now I am where they are. However, this is a different time in a different space in our news gathering, observing days, or whatever you want to call it. And I just don't have the appetite to go back and forth with people over the nonsense that's going on out there. But this is what I want to talk to y'all about. I don't know how many of y'all are into space exploration. Now, when I was growing up, we had the space shuttle. Discovery, Enterprise, and all the other ones that went up. Columbia, you know, we had those, and that was cool. But my bigger issue is all of the space junk and debris that's circling the globe that they say will never come down, right? Now, although that may be true, it may not come down. It may just stay where it is in orbit around the planet because we have just like a junk ring around the planet. And that just sparked another thing. And I'll just say it before I get off, before I lose it. Is it possible for space debris and space junk to have an effect on the climate on Earth? Because my theory, this is just a theory, it's not proven, it's not scientific, it's none of that. This is just my thoughts and just my thoughts. Everything starts with a thought. My thought is that if there's so much debris circling the Earth and the rays from the sun that typically used to come unobstructed, now they're obstructed, and sometimes the temperature is just way off. They say global warming because of, carbons in the air and this, that, and the other. But is it possible that some of the radiant sunbeams are being reflected from the earth? Who knows? That's whatever. But anyway, my overall point is this. I was watching the news earlier today on my iPad, and they were talking about a SpaceX rocket that went up in the sky last January, a year ago, over the Caribbean, right? And I'm looking at this graphic here this beautiful graphic. This plane took off from Puerto Rico at 4:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this was Delta Flight 573. Um, Headed for Atlanta from Puerto Rico. Got around Dominican Republic, and then at 5:49 p.m., air traffic controllers told pilots over the Caribbean that a SpaceX Starship rocket had exploded. All planes were ordered to avoid the area where the FAA estimated debris would fall. That was at 5:49. Now, mind you, Delta flight 573 at around still around 5:49 turn the plane turned sharply south to get out of the debris zone. Now, this debris zone is from Saint Martin past the British Virgin Islands, past the Virgin Islands, past Puerto Rico, past Dominican Republic and Haiti, past Turks and Caicos, and damn near up into the Bahamas, but to the northeast of Cuba, and a little under Florida. So this plane turns sharply to get out of the debris field. Then it started heading north. And so the plane was not alone, mind you. There were 20 other planes that appeared to make sudden turns to exit or avoid the danger zone in the minutes after the explosion. Come on now, what are we doing? What are we doing here? That was at 6:12 p.m. Those 20 other planes that did all of this maneuvering. Now, that's a hot mess. I'm going to need you to look this up. Yeah. Now, while none of the planes were damaged by debris, such as emergency maneuvering, can be risky, the airspace remained closed for 86 minutes, during which time flight patterns showed dozens of other planes likely had to change course, making pilots and passengers unwitting participants in SpaceX's test of the most powerful rocket ever built. Did any of y'all know this happened? I didn't know this happened. Well, I heard of the rocket exploding, but I didn't know all of this was going on. And mind you, I just heard about this. This is a year later that I'm hearing about this part of the story. People, I'm not, I understand, right? I do, I firmly understand where we are going as a species on this planet. I understand. I completely understand. However, comma, I would love to see some effort put forth in cleaning up the orbit, if that is it even at all possible. Because, like, I don't even think it's possible because things around the orbit, they go so fast, as they say. They say, I forgot how fast things travel around the Earth, the speed. Um, I mean, if the Earth can make a complete revolution in 24 hours, as big as this goddamn planet is, if it can make a 360-degree rotation in 24 hours, you know that's fast. If this planet can travel around the sun in 365 days, 366 on a leap year, you know that is fast. So just imagine how fast things are rotating around this planet. That is fast. What are we doing here? What are we really doing here? Help me understand what we are doing here. There's a lot of other things along that vein that bother me. Why is my exposure just brightening and dimming randomly? I just don't understand. It's not on automatic white balance, is it? It is on automatic white balance. That's why. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, I also saw a news story. I think it was earlier today about data centers. They are putting data centers in various places that is taking away land. Like, and it's the AI data centers at that. Again, I understand. I totally get it. I totally get it. However, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, once things are disrupted and destroyed, more than likely it's not coming back. It's not coming back. Do people really like take that seriously anymore? I know this is probably something that y'all don't want to hear about, but I mean, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? And then they want to sell off public land to build houses and stuff like that. What are we doing? Why? We have just this is just my opinion because I'm not an expert at all. But my opinion is there is so much land out there that can be repurposed for housing and all kind of other things. Why not use that? Why go off and build on, untouched land to build very expensive housing? For what? Help me understand that right now. Because that's where things are going. But anyway, I think I've rambled enough on this topic, and I don't want to start rambling and getting incoherent or anything else. So I'm going to shut that down right now, and I will holler at y'all in the next video. Peace.